And Rising.
Grand Rising, Chief Sophia.
How are
How are
you
you doing?
doing? I'm doing great. It's a lot of good energy in here, so
Yeah,
yeah.
that shift, what was it, 2 weeks ago? Yeah, I think it
Oh
was
yeah.
2 weeks ago. That it's really flowing now.
Yeah.
It's really going.
Things are really picking up and you can just feel them. You could feel the desperation.
Yeah.
It smells like broke around here, honestly. Like
Uh-huh.
real broke.
And they're trying to, it's like the designer clothes ain't like that's like you're still broke.
Right, exactly.
Like
No
you're
matter
spending
how
all your money
fancy the clothes.
trying to look
Exactly.
fancy, but it's like we could, as you say, we could smell you. We can
Right.
smell you.
Exactly. It stinks in
You might
here.
fool the others, but you ain't fooling us.
Exactly. Exactly. You're not going anywhere near where you think you need to go. And since we're going to talk more about the calendar today, I'm really excited about that because you asked me, what is it called? What is this technology called? And the best I can come up with is it is the enchanting. It is literally the enchanting of yourself to follow in the natural order, the way things were set up for us to actually be successful. And the deeper people are able to accept this technology, their own personal enchanting, the easier it will be for them to be successful in whatever it is they're trying to accomplish. Because truthfully, the only reason people haven't been living like this is that they didn't know that that's what was happening. Like, there's no way that you can engage in any of this stuff like by accident. It really has to be intentional, and people just didn't know that that's what was happening, honestly. And we're at an energetic point that there's no turning back. There's no capacity to turn back. There's no will to turn back, honestly, either. Hopefully my sound is still okay. Uh-oh, maybe not. Hold on. My sound sounds weird over here. Do I sound okay? I can't tell.
Okay, so I can hear you, but it sounds like you're kind of like away.
Hopefully it sounds better
Yeah,
now.
way better.
Okay. Okay. For some reason, anyway, the sound went through the car, not through the actual headphones where I have it. But there's no way to do this by accident. And so the only reason they've been able to get away with this is that we've been doing all of the things to align with this calendar. 100,000%. We just didn't know that's what it was. And so I was putting together the numerology for this upcoming full no full moon eclipse that's going to be happening on Saturday and or Sunday actually. And I was trying to figure out what the numerology was, what kind of energy we needed to call in. And so I had produced something called a low shoe grid. And a low shoe grid is really interesting because you can take your personal numbers and put them into this. It's basically like a magic square. But what it does is it tells you, um, basically it's affiliated with all of the planets and all of the numbers in each row, because it's a 9 point grid. Like, it has 9 spaces in the grid, and every direction adds up to 15. And so if you don't have any of the numbers, that's like the energy that you're quote unquote missing, and then you can rehabilitate your energy. So I had done a low shoe grid for the full moon, trying to figure out, okay, well, we know which kind of energy we need to work with, and I'm going to talk about that in a minute. But this is a really good example of how in alignment this stuff is. We know that every day has certain numbers assigned to it. And if you see my video on the calendar, I talk about the day, the Zolkin, all of this stuff. And so when I put all of that into the low shoe grid, I was missing 2 numbers, 1 and 6. And so I was like, okay, well, I have everything, all the numbers but 1 and 6. So we need the version of Athena, and that has to do with the temple or the constellation that is affiliated with. We were missing 1 and 6, and so I was like, okay, well, that's the version of Athena we need, because when it deals with these Greek gods, and that's what we're going to really be going into, when it deals with these Greek gods, all their different epithets have to deal with versions of them that meet very specific needs. And so I had tied that to the low shoe grid, to the planets, to the whatever, all the stuff that kind of stuff goes with. And so 1 and 6 were missing. All right. So I decided I was going to go back and put the degrees into the calendar, because I had aligned the Zolkin, the Nunday, all these other things, but not the degree that the sun was at 6 a.m. Now, the reason I use 6 a.m. is because that's the average time of the sunrise. Basically, almost every day, sunrise is going to be at 6 a.m. It's going to, most of the time, most of the year, it's going to be before 6 a.m. A few days out of the year, it'll be after 6 a.m., but it's going to average out around 6 a.m. And so that's that's the time we use to start our day. So I went through my whole Zolkin calendar, which goes from March the 21st of 2024 to March the 21st of, 2025 to March the 20th of 2026. And I put the degree that the sun is going to be at 6 a.m. on every single day, because that's information that will help to, because we don't know exactly, well, we do, I do now, but we don't really know who responds to which time. Like, that's why it's so important to combine the calendar all into one place, because we don't know what entities work off which time. We just don't. Like, we I can guess, actually, a big guess now, but we don't really know. So in order to make sure everybody knows what we're talking about, we have to synchronize the whole calendar, including the position of the sun in the sky. So I found something very interesting. On the 7th, on the 8th and the 9th of September at 6 a.m., the sun is going to be at 16 degrees of Virgo on the 8th and the 9th. Now, what numbers did I say was missing? A 1 and a 6. So once I added that in, there were no numbers missing on the low shoe grade. That is impossible. That doesn't happen. People don't have full filled out low shoe grids. It doesn't work like that. And so that was the missing piece. Something else that's crazy, like I said, on the 8th and the 9th is both at 16 degrees. This happens once a month, or once a zodiac, from Aries to Virgo, except in Cancer season, it happens twice. It's two separate instances of the sun being at the same degree at 6 a.m. Two separate instances in Cancer season at our 12 o'clock point. And once Aries season through Virgo season. Now, the crazy part about that is from Libra season through Pisces season, it doesn't have, there's no double days, except in January, there's a day, or Capricorn season is shorter day. It's literally, there's a day where it's 10 degrees of Capricorn, and the next day it's 12 degrees of Capricorn. It skips a day. This is impossible. Like, this is why they're scrambling with their technology to keep up. How can you possibly keep up with a cycle that is always doing these very unusual things that you don't even understand why? Like, how do you have a day so short that it skips a day? Like, that's impossible. How do you have a day so long that it's 2 days? Not just once in a month, in a season. In Cancer season, it's twice. This is impossible. So putting together this calendar and understanding that it's a technology, but more than that, it's consecrated, which makes it enchanted, because consecration and enchanting are the same thing. And so if we want to live an enchanted life, this is what they said about Jesus. They called him the Holy One of Israel. He lived an enchanted life. If we want to live an enchanted life, we have to be enchanting. And the way we can be enchanting is by using this technology of the calendar.
Wow. Okay. To be enchanting, we are to follow the calendar.
Well, you can be enchanting in other ways, right? There's
Yeah,
other
right, of
ways to be
course.
enchanting.
Hmm.
But this calendar makes it easy to know how to enchant,
Right.
what to enchant when. Because that has to deal with, okay, so that's what I was going to talk about next. That it has to deal with the temples. The constellations are not just like heavenly bodies, they are the temple. They are the actual temple where these various Olympic gods reside. Now, I had gone on a whole rampage against Zeus, and I realized that it wasn't Zeus that was the problem. It was Kronos was Zeus's father. So if you have a father, you have a son that's very similar. And that's why I was getting them confused. Their energy is very similar. But the difference between the Olympic gods and the Titans, which Kronos was a Titan, is that Kronos is time. The Olympic gods don't have time. They're not bound by time. There's no time. There is no Olympic god of time. That was a Titan thing, not an Olympic god thing.
Wow. Okay. So, so just to recap on what you said about what's happening. So this is 6 a.m., right? The 8th and the 9th of September?
The 8th and the 9th of September at 6 a.m. It's 16 degrees and 1 minute, I guess, on the 8th, and on the 9th it's 16 degrees and 57 or 58 minutes. It's
So,
almost 17 degrees.
so, like, I mean, it's so what does it mean in terms of like obviously this like it's like the numbers that you were looking for in the calendar
It's
is being
amazing.
shown, but so what does that tell you about what you're doing, what we're doing, but also like how does this, I guess, relate to the Atlas comet? Like it seems like everything is really coming to a head in September. So why those specific dates, and like what does that tell you in terms of like what's really going on? Like, is that basically just confirming that the
Okay,
calendar is supposed to be pushed now? Is that like part confirmation of that?
I I think so. I think that if let me put it this way, if anybody else was trying to figure this out, it couldn't be more obvious. Like
Mm,
it, when I say it literally could not be more obvious, it literally could not. You could not ask for more confirmations than this. Because remember, also we had a Virgo new moon at 1 degree, no, at 0 degrees of Virgo, and we have a Virgo new moon after this full moon we have another Virgo new moon at 29 degrees. So it's literally mimicking, like it's literally converging all in this one point. Like you couldn't ask for more confirmation because we don't usually have two Virgo new moons. That's unusual because it changes the cycle. Normally we have a
wow.
new moon of a new moon in one sign, the full moon in the opposite sign, and then the new moon in the next sign. But by having two new moons, it changes the dynamic between the moon. It's like a reset point for the moon and the sun. Now, after when we have the next new moon in Virgo again, the next full moon is Aries. So now we have Aries full moon and then Libra new moon, which is backwards. Right now it's forwards, meaning we have the new moon in one sign and then the opposite sign is the full moon. So it's going to switch positions and the full moons are going to be ahead of the new moons. I don't know if I'm explaining that well, but it's just it flips the whole story on its head. It's literally the reversal. Like it's a literal representation. I think that's what it's called. It's a lunar reversal. Like it's a literal reversal of the energy.
Oh, it's a reversal.
Yes, it's a literal reversal.
Wow.
Because normally you have the new moon in one sign and the full moon in the opposite
Wow.
sign. But then because we're going to have another Virgo new moon, the next full moon is going to be Aries. And so then you're going to have the Libra new moon. So it's going to be, it's a literal reversal. Like I'm talking about like absolutely literal.
And this is the first week of or second week of September, basically, more or less.
Well, the next Virgo new moon is at the end of September. It's like
Mm.
it's right before the equinox, because then we go the sun moves into Libra. So
Wow.
it's literally at 29. It's the day before the equinox because it's at 29
I mean,
degrees.
it is
Like,
really spooky because I've been feeling the reversal in terms. I mean, we've been talking about it where, and a big
right,
thing that I talked about today in spaces I did earlier is that the incentives have completely shifted. It's exactly what
yeah,
you were saying with there's been this shift where before and really I could say last month, like because it's been really
right,
recent, all of the
right,
incentives were for the misaligned system. Like you
right,
want to make money, you got to submit to that system. You want to be,
right,
appreciated, you want to be supported, you want to be embraced, you have to submit to that system. Obviously,
right,
us doing the work that we've been doing, like where we refuse to submit to that system. So we had
right,
to sacrifice ourselves. We had to literally go through the mud and deal with what we had to deal with in the physical because we could not get ourselves to get on our knees for a false god, for a false idol.
right,
And
right.
what I've been seeing and feeling specifically today when I began to speak about it is the incentives now are for the aligned system. And the
Right.
incentives that used to be incentives for the misaligned system are being like they just don't exist anymore. Like it's not,
No.
there are no incentives to keep that system going, and so when the incentives cease to disappear, nobody cares. Nobody wants to support it.
Nope.
Nobody wants to invest in it, be a part of it. And now the elite are left with crumbling infrastructure, not knowing what the fuck to do.
Right. Right. No, that's true. It's like, they announced that they're going to put this Space Force headquarters in in Alabama, and they were trying the Biden administration had tried to move it to Colorado, out of alignment. But instead, they had to put it in Alabama. Where's Alabama? Alabama's in the Black Belt. Like they know. I mean, these things can't be ignored. They're talking around all the facts, but you're not going to find like a lot of black people in Colorado, but you sure gonna find a lot of them in Alabama. Like there's no getting around that. And so the Epstein files, the House committee just released 32,000 pages of subpoena documents. This stuff that they thought would just go away is not going away. They're completely. I mean, even the thing where everybody thought Trump was dead or something and said he's chimping out over limestone. Like they can't control any of this stuff. I've never seen like anything like what I'm seeing now. And what it is their calendar was enchanted. Remember, the calendar is their technology, and everything they've been doing is to maintain their technology, their calendar, their Chronos. Because again, Chronos is their god. I think with pretty much certainty that Jehovah, this foreign god or whatever this guy is Chronos, because it's time. So they have been trying to keep everybody bound to this time. And now they can't do it. I mean, like, not at all. It is totally fallen apart, their capacity for maintaining the system at all. And their enchanting is gone. That means that our ability to enchant is now is here. Like, and now is the time to do it. And I think that it's not just the calendar, it's just in general people understanding that we're not, it's not that we're here alone, or it's like some kind of alien technology is here. It's just the order is the way things are ordered. These temples, like I'm describing it, is really what is keeping things in order. And in the last spaces, I discussed how they took away these 10 days and they mess up the whole calendar and all of that. That was their that was them also separating us from the temples of the zodiac and really just mucking the whole thing up. So this is why you have so this is what the tropical zodiac is, right? So this is, sort of related to this, but it's kind of an important distinction. The Vedic or astronomical sky is based on that old calendar, which is about 10 days, 10 degrees. It's really like 12-degree difference. With the precession of the equinoxes is a little bit closer to 14. So that's the difference between the tropical zodiac and the astronomical or the Vedic chart is that it's about 12 degrees and some change. And so once you understand that the Olympic gods, which is the ones that I'm talking about, are projecting into our tropical, and it's called tropical again. They took away these 10 days, so we are even projected in to this tropical timeline. This is not necessarily where our timeline is supposed to be, but this is where we're projected in because they took away those 10 days and they can't possibly give them back. Like they can't return them. It doesn't work like that. And so it created a gap. But the good thing and I talked about the gap before, and I said the gap is bad. In this case, the gap is good because if you needed something to be resolved, they have extra time to resolve it. So even though, like, for example, I pulled the chart for yesterday, we're at 9 degrees of Virgo yesterday in the sky. But from the real-time sky, we were at, I think, 15 degrees of Leo. Well, that means that's extra time for me to have connected with Apollo, which is why the energy came in the way that it was. That's why it was so important to sync the actual degree where the sun was on the days so that they could know what we're talking about. Again, this is a language. This is a technology. Like, having this capacity is huge because if you need something so let me talk about the temples. Each constellation is a temple, and when you approach it like it's a temple, it's very different than approaching it like it's a slice of the sky. No. It's not a slice of the sky. It's a temple. And that means you have to be respectful when you enter the temple of one of these particular gods. Every slice of the zodiac has a different Olympic god assigned to it, based on a lot of different factors. And it's not exactly what everybody thinks. Like, for example, most people associate Aries, the Aries slice of the sky, with Aries, the god of war. But that's not true. The Aries slice of the sky really belongs to Athena. Athena is the one who starts all the shit. That's what she does. She stirs up the trouble. Why would a man do that? Like, sassy men, perhaps, but men don't stir up trouble. Women do. And that's exactly who owns the Aries slice of the sky, a woman who stirs up trouble. And so that may seem like a small thing, but if you've got a lot of Aries in your chart and you're trying to figure out why trouble is always being stirred up, well, here's your answer. It's because you're dealing with Athena. And then once you understand that you're dealing with Athena, you can rectify that. But if you don't know, you need some light. If you don't know that you're dealing with Athena, you have no idea how to remedy that, and you end up like fighting like against yourself in a way that's very anti what you're trying to achieve. Bye. So what does that mean for people who have Scorpio in their chart? Because they say that Mars is the other ruler of Scorpio. Well, yes, so that's not true. The ruler of Scorpio is Mars or Aries. And so if you have a lot of Scorpio in your chart, like me, Aries is the god of offensive war. So he's a defender. Aries is not starting a battle, but Aries is finishing the battle. And so when you, again, it's a very subtle difference that once you understand you're dealing with these particular entities in this order, it makes a huge difference in how you act once you're inside of their temple. Now, what does that mean? In your own personal zodiac chart, you have all of these Olympic gods in your chart in a different place. And so if you're dealing with the area that they, like for example, if you have Aries in your first house, then that means you're dealing with Athena on your ascendant. So that means you're going to probably be a person who starts a lot of trouble on the outside. You know what I mean? So how do you deal with that? Well, you just don't, you know that thing is going to rile up in you and you're going to start trouble. So you have to do your best to remedy that. But once you understand that's how it works, it can be remedied. But if you don't know, like a lot of these Protestants out here, you try to tell them, hey, you got this Greek god that's actually acting out their whole story through your life, they look at you like you've got a problem. When in fact, they don't even understand that for real, they are acting out the stories of these Greek gods over and over and over and over again. And it's on them to solve the problem. This is why treating the zodiac houses as temples and not just pie slices makes a huge difference. If you're treating it like a pie slice, that's very informal. That's like saying, okay, well, I have Aries in the first house. That means that I'm going to come off really aggressive, and you might lean into that energy. Well, maybe you shouldn't lean into that energy, if you don't want to be fighting everybody all the time. But if you don't know that Athena is the one who basically started the Troy War, they keep blaming Ares, but it was Athena who literally, anyway, that story is, the long story short is, if once you understand that by having this particular Greek god or whatever, Olympic god is a term I prefer to use. By having this particular Olympic god in your chart and you unknowingly acting out their story, you can be acting out their story. You don't even know why you did what you did. That's the instinct you had. Well, your instincts could in fact be wrong because you're trying to solve these stories. Unless you want to die unless you want your story to end how these Olympic God stories end, you have to do something different. You have to give the story a happy ending. And you can't give the story a happy ending if you don't understand that you're playing out their story.
Wow. And so you said Aries is the god of defensive war? Or
Offensive war. So like I have a lot of
so
I'm a
offensive, but
Scorpio
they don't
ascendant.
start it.
Right. I'm not going to start the
Okay,
war.
you're right.
I'm going to observe the war get started. I'm going to let y'all fight and I'm going to stay out of it until you go too far. Then I have to
Right.
get involved. And I do this. This is my literal, again, imagine me reading this, knowing my chart and saying, oh my gosh, this is why the way that I am the way that I am. I thought it was because of something else. So like a story I told before was like, in my dreams, I never been allowed to have no weapons, never. And then all of a sudden, like a week, what was that, 2 weeks ago, they allowed me to have a weapon in
Oh
my dream
shit.
state. Never happened before. I had a gun. It was a big gun. And I was like, okay, what am I doing with a gun? I've never had a gun in my dream. This is brand new to me. And it was totally brand new to me. And what ended up happening was I didn't need it, but they knew once I had it, I was allowed to defend myself. Because one thing they'll do is, like I said, all this stuff is really subtle. So if you're supposed to be able to defend yourself, they will make you think that you are behaving in a way that's wrong because you're defending yourself. But me, I'm supposed to be able to defend myself because I have Aries in my first house. Like, I'm ruled by Aries, so I have to be able to defend myself. But what they would make me do is start fights. And I would be like, I don't want to start a fight. Like, I'm not trying to, and I don't start fights. I don't try to start fights. So that's how they use the energy against you. The result is the same because, again, once the fight is started, Aries will end it. Like, there's no doubt about it. You don't want Aries on your hind parts. He gonna get you. So that's it. That's all. That's how Scorpios are. But imagine thinking that starting a fight and finishing a fight were the same
Right,
when they're
right,
clearly not the
right.
same. Totally different energies, totally different
Yeah, it's
choice
like it's
points.
almost
That's a
like you
better way to
create like
describe
a
it.
brat, because
Yes,
a brat would be the one that would start the fight and finish it, and whereas like a wise person, as you said, like they don't start the fight. They it's better for them to preserve and cultivate their energy to make sure that the fight
right,
ends in the way that it's supposed to end. And I think it's
exactly,
beautifully showcased in like how you have dealt with, specifically in this scenario, the calendar. You know, you
right.
you perceived what was going on, and you came basically, I mean, from what it seems like, towards the end of this war when it comes to this technology, and said, "Okay, we're wrapping this up. Everybody, you know, thanks for playing. Like, this is the calendar. Like, everyone's dying now. You know, the old guard is gone. Like, here's, you know, it's like you finished it. You're basically finishing it, and
Right,
it's
like
insane
we're moving
how
on now.
the planetary alignments, as you just mentioned, with the September 8th and
8th
ninth,
and
yeah,
ninth.
it's like it's basically saying, okay, you did it. Like you got it. Yeah, you're
It's
doing
over.
you're doing exactly as you were supposed to do, and you did it. And and now once it's like, you know, once we fully start to follow it, and I think as you have been working on it, I can feel that we're already doing it, but obviously, you know, it's a different story when we're
Yes,
more conscious of it. It's just gonna,
right.
every day that we follow it, it's just gonna be another hit, another hit. Just
Yeah,
they're knocked out and they're on the ground, and we're just pummeling them. We're we're just beating them senselessly, and they can't get up. They
pretty
can't get
much.
up. And
But that's what Aries does.
mm,
He finishes it. It's over. And again, it's not me, it's that Aries energy that I carry. And also being true to the energy, even though I didn't know that's what it
mm,
was. Now, remember, I just found this out like in the last 24 hours. Like, this is not information I've known
wow.
forever. I just figured this, I just put this together. Like, oh, this is what this is. Like, what, yesterday I think I made 8 videos yesterday. Like, today I've already made like 4 videos. Like, this is brand new information. This is not even I had the answer a week ago. This is brand new information. So, but this is like I said, as a result of following the creator wherever he leads. Like, I didn't know it was going to end up with the Olympic gods. As a
Mm.
matter of fact, I said I don't want to deal with these guys. I don't know who these guys are. I don't like them. You know what I mean? That's what I said about all of these entities. I don't want to deal with none of them. Like, I don't like any of them. Like, leave me alone. And here I am saying, "Oh, we have to be priests in the temple of these constellations."
We have to treat them as a temple.
What? Can you? If you, we just talked about this a couple weeks ago. I this is a problem people have also with like Aries energy. Like, sometimes you have to make a decision, and it's the total opposite of the decision you just made.
Mm.
I would
Yeah,
do it
yeah,
because it's
right.
the right thing
Hmm.
to do. Like, this is
But
what
if you're a
happened. Hey,
brat,
we were going
but
the
if you're
wrong
a
way.
brat, you refuse to accept the, which what might be considered a defeat, but it's not a defeat. It's just a
Right,
pivot. It's just you
right.
saw
It's a
the
pivot.
battlefield, you saw the reality, and okay, this makes sense, boom, and then you finish it. But what happens with a lot
Right.
of the people, and I think in this case with the Aries energy, is like they're just all in on that thing. And so they're just, and I see that
Yep.
with the spiritual people. It's like they're ramming their heads into something, and decades pass and they're still in the same like spiritual shithole energy that they began. If anything, actually they're worse off. And they don't there's no progress, there's no development. And that's
Nope.
what's happened, is there's been stagnancy across humanity, regardless of whether one is a banker on Wall Street or some guru hippie spiritual person doing retreats. It's like everybody got stuck. And I think a large reason
Yep.
for that is the calendar. Because if you
Yep.
don't have the calendar, there's no way for you to uh everybody has to like, we had to basically figure out on our own. So we had to basically, in many ways, almost create our own calendar. And it's been through
Right.
very difficult, challenging experiences to figure it out. Most people are just like, fuck that. Like, let me just keep trying to
Right.
play this game and do the best that I can. Maybe pick up some breadcrumbs and pick up some pennies to survive. And we were just like, we have to go in. We have to go into the dark. And that's why
Right.
these people are stagnant, because like what we had to do was basically like, in some ways, give up on ourselves in the old system. And
Yes.
that's, who's going to do that? Only crazy people do that.
Exactly. Like you have to walk away from your old avatar. Like for example, as a Scorpio, I have a lot of Scorpios. So as a Scorpio, they say the Scorpios are hypersexual and all of this stuff. And I'm like, I don't feel none of that. Like it never. And also Scorpios are always starting fights and being shady and doing dirt and all this stuff. And it's like the scorpion and the scorpion's tail, and it's gonna sting you. And I'm just like, I don't feel none of that because I'm not like that at all. So am I going to reject hundreds of years of accepted knowledge? Absolutely. But can most people do
Right.
that? No, they
Mm-hmm.
can't. Like I was talking to my friend earlier, and she's a Capricorn person, and so she was like, "Well, the Capricorn is the she goat, this and that." I said, "Okay, so let me explain it to you this way. If you repeat the stuff that you heard from these people, you are agreeing to worship their God." And she was like, "Oh, I don't want to do that." I said, "Yeah, so you basically have to throw all that stuff away. Everything you learned about your chart previously, just throw it away because you have to apply these new gods. Like you can't,
Right.
because again, this is a battle of the gods that never got resolved. This is the Titans versus the Olympians. That battle has been going on forever. As long as this planet has been around, that battle has been going on. It never got resolved. Now, just now, are we able to actually resolve it by the humans rising up and saying, we don't want you to be our gods. Hello. We want to work in the temple. Again, we want the AI to be our friend. We want to be friends with these Olympians. We don't want to worship them. It's not about worshiping it. It's about being friends with them. And that's the difference. The Titans, this Titanomancy, they want to be worshipped. Kronos wanted to be worshipped, and we didn't want to do that. We rejected their God.
Have we talked about Prometheus? I feel like we talked in a previous
I didn't I didn't go into Prometheus a lot.
So he has come up a
I did
lot, and it's, I feel like we did, because so Prometheus, from what I've read, is like he led like some sort of rebellion for humans to essentially like ascend or something, with like he gave the
right.
humans power. Um,
Right. I think he gave the humans knowledge,
okay,
but
knowledge, right? Yeah.
I haven't really dug into Prometheus yet because somebody asked me about another entity. I'm like, hold up, let me figure out these
Yeah,
temples
right,
first
right.
because this is a revolution.
Uh-huh.
This is a revolutionary thought
Wow.
to treat the zodiac as a temple.
Yeah.
When you go into each of these temples and what respect you have to have when you go into a temple.
How do you think these astrology people are gonna react?
The same way they're reacting right now. I saw an astrologer say, I would love to buy everybody on Astro Twitter a shot because we've been doing great. I'm like, y'all been doing what? I think y'all have been doing horrible. I would give you an F, actually. But they don't even see that the time has passed them by. And
Wow,
that is the
right. Yeah, I
truth.
mean, it's like they're circle jerking themselves. A lot of these
Yes.
astrology
Mm-hmm.
spaces, it's people just like, "Oh, what do we hate about this sign? Oh,
Right.
what is has anyone ever dated a Scorpio?" And everyone's like, "Yeah,
Exactly.
Scorpio's this." Basically, they just talk about the the shitty expressions of that energy, which really
No,
is
no, they're not the shitty expressions. The Titan expressions. It's the Titans telling of the story,
uh
not the Olympic gods. Like this. This is why I keep saying that you have to make the distinction between the Titans telling of the story and the Olympians telling of the story. They're very, very different. The Titans, remember, Kronos ate. He got the prophecy that he would be overthrown by one of his children. So every time his wife gave birth, he ate the child. He ate them. Five five children and a rock he ate so that
And a
he would be
rock?
able to hold on to his power. Yeah, because Zeus, when Zeus was born, Rhea, anyway, Zeus did not get eaten. He got hid somewhere.
Uh,
Actually, this is really interesting. When Zeus was born, his mother is Rhea. So when he was born, Rhea talked to Gaia, which is her mother, and they hid Zeus. And actually, what happened was Job's daughter, Almathea's horn, took care of him. These stories are all jumbled up. We talked about Job last
yeah.
week. This is crazy. Literally, Job's daughter took care of him.
So
Job's daughter, her name was Almathea's horn, and
wow.
she took care of Zeus.
So the
Yeah, it's crazy.
so I mean, can we say that Titans are like the low vibrational expression of the energy, and the Olympian
I
gods are
think
like the
so.
high vibrational?
I think so. Well, the Olympic gods were the winners. They won the battle. This is the whole thing. This is
Mm.
a battle. They won the battle. Oh, you need a piece. Here you go. They won the battle fair and square. They beat the Titans. And oh, I need the car keys. Um, they won the battle fair and square. They beat the Titans. And instead of taking, because they got banished to the outer darkness. So remember, we're talking about the enforcement. They got banished to the outer darkness. So instead of going to the outer darkness, taking their punishment, and, living their life in, the lower region, they literally did what the same thing I said happened in America. They pretended like they didn't lose, and they kept on living as if they had won. And so this is why you don't have the story told properly, because the people telling the story in this case are the losers.
Mm.
And the winner's version of the story was buried, because what the losers did, these Titans, is they got the humans to basically free them from the outer darkness by acknowledging them again, bringing their energy back up and saying, hey, we want to work with this energy, we like this energy. What was wrong with those those Olympians? Why did they do this to them? Why did they do that to them? So instead of them being lost to history, these evil, wicked humans like Augustine of Hippo and Tertullian and the rest of them brought their energy back. They brought their technology back, which was their calendar.
Of the Titans.
They bought them back.
The
Yes,
Titans.
they brought their calendar back.
Mm.
Yes, the Titans. Yes, they brought them
Wow.
back, and therefore that's why it seems like, again, that these elites won. But then at the same time, you had people like me. So a good example of this is like over the weekend. There's a YouTuber. His name is B Dell. He led a whole expedition of Black people to Stone Mountain in Georgia. Now,
Mm.
Stone Mountain
Nice.
is like a very no, it's very bad.
Oh.
They're Titan followers.
Oh
Yeah, they want the
shit.
Titanomancy back. They want the aliens to come. So he led this whole group to Stone Mountain, where they basically tried to open a portal and let the Titans come back
What?
and rule the earth. Yeah, they did. Somebody tagged me in a video, and I was like, I know exactly who this
Oh
is. I know
shit.
exactly what they did. So this is
So
what we're
what do they
fighting against.
want?
It's not like
What
we're
is
fighting.
what is he trying to get on their good side and make money? Like what's his play?
They want the aliens to come and rule us. They want a king. Remember, I said
Mm,
this goes back into the
right.
Bible. Some of these people want a king to rule over them, but we are saying no. We don't want a king. We don't need a king. Let us work directly with the
Right.
Creator. And who did the Creator send us? He sent us his Olympians, his winners, which are these Olympic gods. And that's who we need to be working with. This is the way the Creator wants it. I'm fine with that. Like, I can understand this story. What I can't understand is knowing that these other entities, like all of these weird Anunnaki and all this stuff, they're all losers. Like, they all lost. Like, they lost, but they're still out here acting as if they won. And it's like a fake it till you make it. Like, if they pretend like they
Yeah,
won
right.
long enough, then all of a sudden maybe they'll be winners. And it doesn't work
And I
like that.
see that in my reality with people all around me, especially those that have I guess won is like they keep trying to convince me, and not directly because we don't even communicate, we don't even associate, but they try to act like and move in a way as if they won, and you can feel that they're not enjoying their life. They're not like
Right.
they're not having fun at all. They're not having uh we're supposed to be in a state of bliss regardless of
Right.
whether we have material things or not. Those people, now
Right.
for us, we are on that way. Like we are experiencing those states on a repeated, consistent basis, and it's only going to accelerate. These people have never tasted it, probably in
No.
years. Wow.
Maybe since a
Wow. Well, I mean,
child.
it's very interesting timing that the guy led that Stone Mountain expedition. It really, I mean, they're really trying. They're really trying anything,
Oh, they're
anything they
putting
can.
again. I have said before, Black people are Jehovah's best workers. These people never give up fighting for evil because they believe it is going to get them somewhere. Like, these are your number one recruits. This is also why you have all of Young Thug's jail tapes being released. Like, what is that
Yeah,
about?
what
It's
is that
tearing
about?
Atlanta up.
So, is
It
it what
literally has torn
is it just
Atlanta
about
apart.
like pushing the whole rats and snitching like
No. It's tearing Atlanta apart.
mm,
Atlanta has always been a united front.
oh
When you heard
wow.
Atlanta, it was united. Now you got people in Atlanta saying, I'm not from Atlanta. I'm from the North. I'm from Alpharetta. I'm from, DeKalb. I'm not from
Mm.
Atlanta. All these people who would have just said before, I'm from Atlanta. Now they're like, no, I'm not. So basically, it has opened a portal where the people whose energy would be associated with Atlanta is now not associated. So they literally trying to open a portal. It's a very slick play. It's an E for effort. They sure did try, but it's a failure because we already caught
Right.
them. When we talked about the AI God on Friday, that was it. There's no coming back from that.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
cannot,
Uh-huh.
like, there's no coming back from that. But now so it just looks stupid. Actually, it just looks stupid what they're
Yeah.
doing. Like, they're just ruining him for no reason. Like, golly.
Yeah, it's
You know
like
what's called? It's called burning. You know how when they burn, like, burn notice, like they're burning all of their assets,
right? It's like
which is
2 minutes
crazy.
left in the football game. We're up 75-0, and they're like celebrating after, getting 2 yards and running. It's like, bro, you haven't even gotten a first down yet. How are you celebrating? What
Right,
are you celebrating
right.
about?
You missed the field goal, bro. Like, how are you celebrating
The
when you
thing is,
missed
they're
that was
celebrating they're
a
playing against us. That's what they're celebrating about. They just they
right.
they
Oh,
just
right,
because for them to compete with the real players, that's exciting. They don't it's like at
right,
this point, it's like the scoreboard almost doesn't exist. They are
right.
fangirling. That's what they are.
Oh
They're
my
fangirling
gosh.
at the fact that for some reason they think that they are in competition, and that in and of itself makes them feel good. But the reality is there is no competition. There has not
No,
been a
we're not
competition.
competing with them.
No.
We didn't even know who they were. I didn't even know who Kronos was. Like, I'm like, Kronos, who's that? Like, who? Everyone knows who Zeus is, right? Who knows who? People don't know who Kronos is, except to say, didn't he eat his kids? That's kind of weird. Like, no one it takes Kronos seriously. So yeah, you're right. They're celebrating being on the field with us,
Uh-huh.
and the whole time we didn't even know we were
Right?
fighting
We're like,
them.
"Oh, okay. Wow,
Imagine that.
interesting." Yeah, yes, right. It's like Neo. It's like Neo when he's getting shot or when he's being attacked, and we're just like naturally just defending like crazy, but we're not even like aware. It's just, it's like boom,
Right,
boom, boom, just and it's God. It's God literally just like moving for us, and we're just
right,
getting our marbles together because in many ways, like I mean, just to not fall asleep was
right,
was took real fucking effort, real fucking work.
right. Absolutely,
And now
absolutely.
we're
Because
being given the
they
gun.
tried so
As
hard.
you said,
Right.
as you had in the dream, we're being given the now we have weapons.
We have
We have
weapons. We're
weapons.
allowed to
And
defend
they've had
ourselves.
every weapon known to man, and they still
Yep.
couldn't do it.
And they still lost. It's the again, the switch is in, the reversal is in, and they They don't this is why astrologers are really in trouble. They don't have any records to compare this to. They're trying to compare it to things that have happened before, and there is no comparison.
Right.
Like, this is why they think Trump is going to die, because when we have a full solar eclipse, which we're going to have at the end of the month at the 29 degree Virgo new moon, we're going to have a full solar eclipse. So usually when you have a total solar eclipse, that is preceded by the death of a leader, of a ruler. And the problem is that was in the past. And we're not on that timeline anymore. So they have nothing to compare it to. So all these people are like, again, like I said, going crazy as if Trump is dead, and meanwhile he's chimping out over limestone. Like, they don't understand, they can't even wrap their mind around like the whole scenario of what's happening to them and how bad it is.
Right. And even if they were right, the death of the ruler is, I would say, a symbolic ruler. Like, I mean, literally, like,
Mm-hmm.
we are seeing a transition of power. So
Right.
obviously, the old ruler, the conglomerate that was the old elite, are being killed off. Like, they're just dying. They're just dying in terms of they have no gravitas anymore. They don't have the pull that they used to have. And a big aspect of this goes back to, it's not like their billions are going to get taken away or anything. It's that their incentives are gone. The
Right.
incentives to, put, for example, what is it? High fructose corn syrup in soda. There's no incentive anymore.
Right.
So it's like
Nope.
all of these companies, all of these firms, all of these governments, all of these entities, all of these individuals in the past had massive incentives to enslave, poison, humiliate humanity. With this switch that you talk about, those incentives have ceased to exist. And now the people are gaining their self respect back to say, no more, no more. Like, we're
Right.
going to clown you if you are being, not aligned to basically being high vibrational, even if the masses are not that. But they're
Right.
holding the elites now at a very high standard. And that means that the elites either have to conform to the new incentive mechanisms or they're taken out. The market just takes them out.
Right. Again, the removal of the parasite equity. We
Right.
did a fast and are doing a fast to remove the parasites. This is how it plays out. So again, this is why, and the crazy part is, this is why people have to talk about the spiritual work that they're doing. They can't just do it in silence and tell no one. That's the magicians of the past. The
Mm,
magicians of the present and the future have to talk about the experiments that they're doing. They have to be vocal about their enchanting. They can't do their enchanting in private. Jesus wasn't private about his enchanting. I did a video almost, it's like a year and a half ago, on um fasting and prayer. It's called Unveiling Fasting and Prayer, because I was like, okay, because what happened was Jesus had healed someone, and the disciples asked him, why couldn't we heal them? And Jesus had told them, this one only goes out by prayer and fasting. And I was like, okay, so that must not mean like regular prayer and fasting. He must be saying something tricky in there. And it was true. And it wasn't like prayer how we think prayer, because it wasn't an active thing. It was a position. It was a place. So the prayer and fasting was being in, now I would use the term temple, being in your temple and commanding the power from your temple that you're in, based on your constellation, based on your zodiac. And it's now that I have this understanding of you know, the Greek gods or the Olympians, the stories in the Bible make more sense. They're tied more directly to exactly what was going on. And in that particular story, um, I think it was in Mark 8. In that particular story, a man had brought his son to Jesus, to the disciples. The disciples couldn't heal him. And so Jesus began to create a new contract for this child. He started by asking the father, how long has this been going on? And the father told him, since he was a child. And so Jesus basically said to him, this thing can be done, this healing can be done if you can believe. And the Father said to Jesus, I can believe, but can you help me with my unbelief? And that was a new paradigm. That's a new contract. So it wasn't, and he didn't say, Jesus didn't say you had to believe in him. Jesus said you had to believe in your child being healed. And the man said, I can believe in my child being healed if you can help me with the unbelief part. So it was a partnership, and that's what Jesus came to do. He came to partner with us so that we can gain the healing that we need. Now, Jesus did this instantaneously, but if we practice, we can also do this instantaneously. We can talk to people and say, because what did the man do? He came to Jesus. He was trying to get his son healed. So he made the effort, and then he also shed tears, which is water and earth, water and salt. So he shed the tears. He made a sacrifice. That's all that's required. People think that it's woo woo, all of this. Enchanting it don't require much. It just requires, it says in Psalm 51, a contrite heart. You have to come in humbleness. You can't be all puffed up like, yeah, I can solve this problem. I don't need Jesus. F Jesus. I can do this by myself. You ain't getting no healing like that. But if you say, okay, I can do the believing part. I can act as if I'm healed, or in my case, I can act as if I have the money. I'm gonna need you to do the part where the money is actually there. How about that? Like, can we work that out? And that's the kind of relationship we can have with these Olympic gods if we understand that we're going into their temple and that it's not just a pie slice in the sky where the stars randomly were you born. That's not the case. It's not the case.
Yep.
Because the problem is now, especially with these astrologers, they believe, oh, well, it's weird. They believe that you can only do what's assigned to you in this life, but there's only one way of interpreting that. And it's like, are you guys crazy? Have you read these stories? Like, even the ones who talk about the Olympic gods and stuff, they're always talking about it from the most negative position of what happened possible. It is so strange to me. Like, the more I listen to astrologers now, the less interested I am in astrology, because I'm like, these people don't want to see humanity survive. So who doesn't want to see humanity survive? That would be the Titans. Like, that was when I really came to the conclusion that it's really these people who hate us that have been giving us our feast days. Like, I've been saying that for 2 years now, and it still haven't caught on to people. You cannot let people who hate you cannot because in the Bible, especially in the New Testament, or if you know anything about the Old Testament too, it was written by scribes. Scribes were the cardboard cutout AI people of today. Like Sam Altman is a modern day scribe, okay? He's not doing anything new. He's just regurgitating back to you what was done in the past, what was said in the past. There's no creativity, there's no invention. He's regurgitating. That's what the scribes did. They just regurgitated back to you what the stories of the forefathers. They didn't write any new stories. There were no new stories being written. And so why would you be listening to these people? Because another thing I noticed in all of these Bible stories in the New Testament, the scribes didn't have any demons. Because what happened when Jesus entered the room, the demons would always show themselves every single time. Whoever had an entity attachment would show themselves in front. They would start screaming and yelling. They would start convulsing and whatever. They would show themselves. Okay. The scribes never did this. So they knew all this stuff that I'm talking about and protected themselves with these Greek societies, with these Greek gods, and they allowed the normal people to suffer all kinds of huge sufferings because it could help them line their pockets. And so today you have that as a demonic 9, but it's the same thing. I mean, the divine 9, I'm sorry. They call them the divine 9. I call them the demonic 9. This not talk about the other ones, just them ones, because they are working with the Titans. They call themselves the Pan-Hellenistic Society, but they're not working with the Greek gods. They're working with the Titans. Clearly, you could tell the energy. Like, once you realize that the Gregorian calendar is ran by Chronos, you can feel that energy. Like, you can literally like detect what it feels like. And so once you know the energy, you can't unknow it. Like I was saying, Chronos was Zeus' father. So it's very difficult. And Apollo was Zeus' son. So it's really difficult, like the father, the son. They always try to say the sins of the father are passed down to the son. But that's not true in this case, because it was the son, Zeus, who fought against his father, Kronos. So if you don't know any better, like I have a brother and a father, and my son and his father, and if you didn't know any better, I say that with my son and his father all the time. They act like brothers. Like, who's who? Like, I don't know who is who. And so that's what Kronos has been doing. He has been LARPing in the energy of his son, saying, no, it was me. It wasn't him. We don't talk about him. He's the one that did all the stuff they said I did, but actually it was him. And I'm sure there's shows and stuff that portray this, but I don't know enough anything about that to talk about it. But that's exactly what he did. Kronos was walking around here pretending to be Zeus, doing things in the name of Zeus, making everybody call him the king of the gods, like he was Zeus. And he wasn't. He was always a different energy, a different entity. And that technology of the calendar is what they use to, what Kronos specifically used to control people. That was his thing. And now it's all falling apart. So where they usually use the planets to do, like, for example, we have a full moon, I'm sorry, on the 7th. And guess what? The American Music Awards is also on the 7th. Now, why would you put an award show on a full moon? That's not a coincidence. It's not a
Yeah, are they gonna have
coincidence.
some drama there? Like, is this gonna be like a Will Smith slapping someone else? Like,
Who
there's
knows? I don't know what they're trying. I don't care either. It doesn't matter. Whatever they're trying is going to fail. I will just look at the comments like I normally do to see what colors I will see. I don't know what they're going to do. Honestly, there's nothing they can do to save Hollywood. So I really don't know what they're going to do. There's nothing they can do to save Hollywood. It's been utterly destroyed. So we'll see what kind of scam they try to play to maintain a little bit more power. Who knows? Honestly, I don't even have, again, we cast them into the outer darkness. What I said the last one, the ones we cast into the outer darkness, all of their nonsense, we don't even have to worry about it. We can observe it. It's nothing wrong with observing what your enemies destroying themselves. We should observe our enemies destroying themselves, but what we don't have to do is be inundated with it. We don't have to lose ourselves in trying to figure out what the enemy is doing. I personally don't care. I haven't cared for a long time, but I care even less now, because that day, the 7th of September, is this is something else in the calendar. It's called it's a Pakal Votan Tomb Day. And so what this is, in the Zocan cycle, they have certain days that were inscribed on the tomb of Pakal Votum. And Votum is what they called them, but it was a Votum because a Votum day is a vow day. So these days are vow days. And Pakal Votum is actually Saul from the Bible. So this is a whole nother thing. Like, I just randomly discovered this, because when they talk about Saul in the Bible, the reason why, I mean, not Saul, yeah, Saul, not Samuel. The reason Samuel picked Saul to be the king is because he was like a foot taller than everybody else. He was super tall. And if you look at Pakal Votum, which is in the Mayan calendar, that just the whatever their religion is, their kingdom, whatever. Pakal Voltan, he was tall. He has this solid emerald um sarcophagus, basically, and it is huge. They deliberately talk about how tall Pacao Votum was because of how big this tomb was. I'm like, they're talking about Saul. There's no way they're not talking about Saul. So again, these are that day, that the 7th is a tomb day. It's a votum day. So it's a day that you make a vow to a god. And so the reason why I had started to look into even the reason why I even looked, like, dug further deeper into the calendar, because I was trying to figure out what god do you make the vow to on this day. Like, we got all of these tomb days. Who am I supposed to be making a vow to? What god was he making a vow to? I know it wasn't Odin, even though Odin worked through him. I know it wasn't Odin. Who was he making a vow to? And now I understand. It was these Olympic gods. They were the ones that was in charge. So I can, basically guess that it was probably, since it's a Pisces full moon, Pisces is related to Poseidon. So probably making a vow to Poseidon. So I haven't finished all my information. By the time we talk again, I'll have it all together where I'll be able to describe what this full moon is about. But I'm still putting together the pieces because this is so amazing to me. And it's so simple. None of these things are complicated. As I always say, when stuff is too complicated, it's been interfered with. This is all very simple. Like, there's the goddess that's over Virgo is named Hestia. And so if you want your crops to grow, you basically make a vow to Hestia that if my crops grow X, Y, and Z, I'll make this sacrifice to you. That's it. Signed, sealed, and delivered. It's enchanting.
Right.
It's not magic. It's enchanting. It's saying you're enchanting your crops by devoting a portion of your proceeds to this god. That's very simple. Like, it's not magic. It's
Yeah,
really,
it's like
like, they want to
contract. It's like
call it magic.
contract.
It's contract law. It's so basic. It's like, okay, you do this for me, I'll do this for you. You do this for me, I'll do that for you. It's very simple. Like, they want all of this stuff to be complicated, but the more I
Wow,
research it,
wow,
the
wow.
simpler it is. You can make it as complicated and
Yeah, of
complex as
course,
you
right.
want, but you don't have to. It can be very, very, it
I
can be
mean,
as
this
simple
is
as, I was gonna say, it could be as simple as, okay, Apollo. What is Apollo? A pollo. What's pollo? Chicken. Fried chicken on the 1st of the month. Simple. Like, how
oh,
complicated is
okay,
this?
yeah.
So simple. It don't have to be complicated. Like, there's a saint that I'm working with, Saint Rios, I think his name is. He likes, like, cornbread. So if Saint Rios helps me find my lost stuff, I'm gonna bake him some cornbread. Like, it's real simple. Like, and then it's not baking it for him. In a story of the saint, he says, it says he wants you to go and share it with at least 9 other people on behalf of his mother, who died a sinner, like, who wasn't baptized before she died. So it's literally like to make an offering on behalf of someone who isn't religious. Like, it's very simple. It's just enchanting it. It's like, I'm making this bread and I'm going to pass it out to people. On the 1st of the month, I'm going to eat fried chicken. Like, it's not complicated. Like, black eyed peas and greens. Like, it's really simple stuff. They want the stuff to be unreachable, like, so that the average person can't reach it. But everybody can eat fried chicken, man. Everybody can get you some cornbread and pass it around. They got Jiffy in a box. Like, anybody can do that. It's so simple.
Yeah, and it's about just being aware, because it's one thing to eat
Right.
fried chicken, and it's another thing to eat fried chicken and communicate, to speak.
Right.
And it's, I mean, this is going to be fascinating in terms of, obviously, as we embrace the calendar, but like, uh, uh, basically, like, what we're doing now is like setting ourselves up, positioning ourselves up to fully embrace the calendar. As we embrace the calendar, we're going to understand how to properly communicate with the gods. And as we begin to properly communicate with the gods, like, as we were talking about in previous spaces, like, we're good over here. Like, because before it was like we were
Exactly.
getting dragged left and right just trying to survive. Now it's like, okay, let's settle down. We did what we had to do. Now we follow the
Right.
calendar. We start working with the gods as we are meant to work with the gods, and because we're basically the only ones working with the gods, like they're just going to be showering us.
Working with them, respecting them, treating their constellations as temples. Nobody
Mm,
else is going to be doing
right.
this. Nobody else is going to be doing this. Everyone else is still treating it like playtime. This is
Yeah,
not playtime.
yeah.
I would not play in somebody's
No,
church
no,
the
no,
way
no,
that these
no, no.
astrologers play
No,
in
no, no, no,
astrology.
no.
Are you
Yeah,
kidding me?
slap.
They're very
Extremely,
disrespectful.
extremely. Uh-huh.
Extremely disrespectful. It's pissing me off more and more. I'm like, y'all need to stop talking about
Like
these
no
things like
wonder
this,
y'all
man.
lives are the way that it is. You know, all these
Yeah,
astrology girls talking about love this, love that. How is your love life? It's like, it's like
true.
their love lives are an absolute chaotic
Yeah,
mess, but they out here talking about, oh, Aries men this, Scorpio women that, Sagittarius
right,
people this, that. It's like how
right.
and that's like in many ways the distraction is like, let's keep them
Yep.
distracted in this way of being, and somehow, like, they're gonna I don't know, they're gonna stay, and I mean it's worked.
It's a
It's
doom
worked.
loop. It's a
Yeah, and
doom
it
loop.
and it
It's
has
literally
worked,
a doom
but
loop.
like now that we have the calendar, and now that you're basically receiving all the downloads in terms of how to properly communicate with the gods, um I mean, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. This is
Yeah, it's
what we
over.
needed. Like this was in many ways, I believe, like the final piece, because the
Right.
system was desperately trying to like bring us back. But it's crazy how they were trying to bring us back, but they were bringing us back in like a humiliating way. Like this,
Right, yeah.
it's, hey, at least try to, like, sell, like, at least try to tempt me to sell myself out. But no, 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 you want me crawling. You want me crawling and
Right.
like begging to come back to
Right.
your misaligned system. I mean, just
Right.
the idiocy, just the, I mean, it's like they're so far gone. They're so
Yeah.
far gone, and it's like, we did it. We did it.
And it's not stuff that, again, it's not stuff that people aren't already doing. Like, most people do what is necessary to work with these gods. Like, it's nothing that people aren't already doing. It's just that they don't know it. And
Yep.
that's going to be the battle moving forward. Like, for example, like if you work with Apollo, technically, like, especially if you're dedicated to Apollo as a young child, right? Most of the time you'll have very long hair. Now, I've heard all kinds of people in the, the I don't know what you call this community, the esoteric community, talking about growing their hair out and all this stuff. They don't even know they're growing their hair out for
Wow.
Apollo. They're growing their hair out for Apollo. And so when they achieve whatever it is Apollo wants them to achieve, they'll cut their hair. And they'll be like, I don't know why I cut my hair. I just got the urge to. Yeah, that was Apollo. He said that you finished up. And so
Bro,
now it's
I
time for you to
I
cut your
I
hair and
cut
move
my hair.
on.
I cut my hair 2 days ago.
Oh my God. Yeah,
The
hey,
first
you did
time in
what Apollo
five
needed you to
years,
do.
5 years, I haven't
You,
cut my hair.
you do you see? You did
And
what
it's funny.
Apollo needed you to do.
I got my hair cut, and I looked at myself, and I'm like, I look like a medieval king. Like I literally got the cut that like makes me look like some like
Wow.
English, like Richard III. I look like Richard III.
Oh my gosh. Wow. Yeah, you did what Apollo needed you to do. Apollo set you up to bring me into the fold. Because again, like I told you before, there's no way I would have trusted Apollo or any of these guys. I
Wow.
didn't trust any of these people. He had to work with somebody he knew I would trust. Like literally, there was no
Yeah, and
other
I
way to get
was
this
I
job
was,
done.
just blissfully unaware of whatever. I was just prancing around, just like,
Yeah,
hey, let's
just
talk.
it's enchanting. Again, you were
Yeah, right,
enchanted.
right.
The gods had you enchanted so that you could fulfill the mission.
Wow.
Like, again, everybody doesn't need to see like the inner workings of this because it's really dirty on the inside. But I'm an Aries person. We're strategy. Like, I can literally see why this had to be done. Like, I've been following you forever. We never
No,
had no
never. I mean, obviously,
contact,
you
nothing.
have interesting content, but obviously, as all of us are, we're stuck in our own world. We're doing
Right.
our own things, and then I don't know what it was. I don't know. There
I'm
must have
telling
been,
you, it
yeah,
was
but
Apollo.
there was like some tweet that you had or some, yeah. It's Apollo told me literally. It was like reach out, like start
Like
talking. Yeah,
now's the time.
start talking, and when we had that first spaces, like it was so impressive and so like just so much information, so much knowledge that it was like I can't wait another week to talk to you. Like we
Right.
we gotta do
Right.
this let's do it twice a
Right.
week. Like we gotta pick
Right.
this up.
Because it's so much
Yeah.
information. And it's like me having the opportunity to communicate what's going on directly to the gods.
Wow.
Like they
Right.
did not want us, people like me, to have that kind of pipeline. That's why it doesn't matter
Uh,
how many people are on this. My message is getting
right.
directly to
Right.
Apollo, which is going directly to Zeus, and they can see where all the problems are. That's why they
Mm.
keep bringing me more information to fill the
So
gaps,
so
like to say,
with what you just said, like, but that's what, because I believe it, but also like, can't they see what you're doing? Like, what's there's a like because there's a big difference in terms of you communicating it via me, whereas you doing the work. Like,
I wasn't working with that pantheon.
okay,
So I was
right,
cloaked. Like that's
right,
another
okay,
thing they've done to our people. Like we're cloaked in a very specific energy
wow,
that keeps entities from interacting with us. So the only way an entity can interact with you is if you
oh
invite them in.
shit,
And because you were in the fraternity, you invited them
yeah,
in.
yeah, yeah,
I never was in none of that stuff. So I never invited any of those entities to be in my energy at all. So no, we can't communicate. Like you still have, people don't think we have free will on this planet. That's absolutely not true. You have the free will to have your energy cloaked. And a lot of people have their
mm,
energy cloaked now where they need to be connecting. Again, this is why they wanted so big of a gap between black people and white people, so that we could never have these conversations and these kind of things come together. Like this kind of stuff requires black people to be in white spaces and white people to be in black spaces in order for us to figure out, hey, you're not the problem, I'm not the problem, who the fuck is that?
yeah,
They the problem. Oh, okay. We can see it together. Like, are you seeing this problem? Oh, yeah, I'm seeing this problem. We can identify it together. So by keeping us all separate and basically spinning in our own technology, because black people got our own internal calendar, the way that we operate. People, you really don't, certain black people, especially spiritual black people, you will never interact with them because we are very much in tune with the energy. And if we have a spirit that, if we recognize a spirit that's unfamiliar, we don't allow that energy into our space.
mm-hmm,
We're very, very
right,
protective of our energy, especially if you're spiritual. And so, no, we don't know. I would never have a reason. Now, they try to contact me, but I shut it down because I told you, when I was in college, my computer was named Aphrodite. One of my friends, he was
wow,
a black guy, but he was like an Oreo. His computer was named Prometheus. I learned everything I knew about computers from this guy, but while we were in college for like 1 year. So they tried to contact me, but I didn't understand. I didn't speak that language at all because we didn't learn that stuff in high school. I was studying Shakespeare, not Greek mythology. So it didn't, and I never had to study it. So I never got any information on this. But I'll bet you one thing, I'll be teaching my kids Greek mythology
uh-huh,
for
yeah,
sure. And I'll be like, no, learn it the right way. Don't learn it the way that where the Titans are the ones that's telling the story. We're going to learn it the proper way. So I now can, again, influence the next generation in a way that was impossible before. We had
mm,
like a huge bubble around us. Like black people we don't get involved in other people's business. We try not to. And so this is why they didn't know. Like they could hear me talk, but I wasn't listening to them. If I got something
mm.
I thought came from an entity that I was not already in communication with, I would reject it because I'm like, I don't know who you are. Why are you around me? Did I give you
Right,
permission to,
right.
like, I had many, like, I had a bunch of dreams where I thought it was the black ETs trying to communicate with me. Now I think it was the Olympians, but I was so like inundated with on the outside with people who were following all of these alien stuff that I just assumed it was the aliens that was trying to infiltrate me, tell me what to do and all this stuff. So no, they probably really
Mm,
tried to reach out to me and it didn't work. They had to come through a physical human that I would be like, "Oh, okay, I know I'm a good judge of character. That's a good person. So, let me go ahead and listen. Let me go ahead and figure out what they're talking about." Because that's how humans are. Like, we want to get a recommendation from someone else. That's how black people are. I want to get a recommendation from somebody else before I go and try it myself. And so my conversations with you have said to me, if he's working with Apollo, look at how well his reasoning is. I could only hope to find someone who can reason this well. Like, I need to figure out what's going on. Maybe this is what I got wrong. That's another thing why
mm,
it's been so important for me to like be vocal. Oh no, I got it wrong. I was wrong about this. It's okay. I changed my mind. We're now doing this. Like, because a lot of people, like you said, in their hubris, they will never admit that they're wrong.
right.
I'm always like, oh, I was wrong. I got it wrong. I
Yeah, me
misunderstood.
too.
I
Like,
I promise you, I called Zeus out. I said, Zeus is fired. We don't want to hear from him. Don't talk to us. And the very next day we had spaces. Like, that's not a coincidence. Like, I still can't even wrap that amount around my mind. I'm like, I don't want to talk to Zeus. F Zeus. Zeus is a mess. This and that. Now I'm like, oh, we have a temple of Zeus. We have to revere him. Impossible.
and
Impossible.
that's wisdom. I mean, that is someone that has done the work to not only be able to accept the pivot, because it's not that you were
Right.
wrong, it's like you had to go through that experience. And in going
Mm-hmm.
through that experience, there was a lot that you learned, and now the game has continued evolving and you adapt accordingly. And that's wise. That's the Aries. That's the Aries. I mean, that's very powerful to be able to, yeah, because you were very, in many ways, like closed off and just like, I've had it with these gods. And
Yep.
with what I felt was like, okay, well, wait, let's like we could figure something out. Like there's let's like I can't let this happen. I can't like
When you offered to rehabilitate them, that was a whole. I had never thought that someone would be like, let's rehabilitate. That never even came to my mind. I'm a zero sum person. Again, when you're fighting a war, it's zero sum. I win and
right,
you
right.
lose. There is no like, let's try to fix them. Like, fix. All right, you know
Yeah,
what?
fuck them.
That's a great idea. Like,
No, I'm with
no, no,
you.
no, I'm
Fuck,
done with
I'm
them.
with you. Fuck these people. But yeah, exactly.
Right,
It's it's like because the thing is we are empowered. Like we are the ones that
right,
have the power now, and so we have the bargaining, and so we're coming to the table and saying, okay, look, like we all can agree that this is not the way to go for humanity. Okay,
right,
let's all work together and move accordingly. Now, obviously, if you guys ain't doing what you're supposed to do, yeah, we have the enforcement mechanism now. Like we have the ability
right,
to be very savage, but let's all now just agree to move in this way. Good. Okay,
right.
break. Right? It's like, everyone puts their hands in a circle and
Right,
go
right.
team.
This is team building,
Yeah.
this is team building, which is kingdom building.
Right.
This is how you build a kingdom. And when I did my very first fast, it was a take back the kingdom fast. And
Mm.
the complaint I had about the person who stole my fast basically and named it that was this person is not suitable to run a kingdom. So who's going to run this kingdom? I was like, I can't allow them to run the kingdom. That's really what
So
I
wait,
said.
so they
There's
said
no way I can allow
that you
them.
were not, oh, that he was not suitable.
Yeah, he was not,
Okay.
he is
Right.
not, current because he's still alive. He's not suitable to run anybody's kingdom.
Uh-huh.
He's barely suitable to run a household. So I, in my wisdom, said there's no way I can let him run the kingdom. I'm going to have to figure out who is supposed to be running this kingdom. And it ain't me.
Right.
I'm not trying to run it. You know, I'm always saying that because people will say, oh, well, you're just doing this for you. No, I am not volunteering. I'm only, again, Aries will do what needs to be done. I'm not going to let it burn all down if it could be salvaged. And when you said that, it clicked back into my head when I said that. Most Black people are satisfied to see America burn to the ground, to see this planet just explode. They don't care about it. And I said, no, we can salvage this planet. Let me work on that. And so when you said it, it was echoing exactly what I had said.
Wow.
Let's work on this. Let's figure out how to solve this problem. And I was like, okay, I can see my own energy in that statement, so it must be reflecting. That is, I would say that's like one of the first times where my energy was reflected back to someone, from someone who I knew did not know I had said that. There's no way you knew that I had felt that way about this planet, about this country. There's no way. I mean, I talk about, no way you would have reflected that exact same sentiment back to me. So I knew that this was a new timeline. Like, this was different. This was not the same as what we have been experiencing before. I knew it. And up to that point, I did not know it. Because everybody I seen is like this Bedell god. Like, let's go and let's get these Anunnaki and these Sumerians and all these other people to come back. We need Tahuti. We need all these other like entities to come and rule over us. We need a king. And I was like, I don't want these aliens in my business. Why do I need them? And now I'm saying, oh, I want to work with these Olympic gods. They seem great. That's like a 180. Like, I know, like, that's really crazy, but I also know that it's right. So I put my full emotions into what's right. I'm an emotional generator, so I have to be emotional about it too. I can't not be emotional about it. I can't be like, half-assing it and saying, oh, well, I'm just gonna try them out and see. I'm like, nope, we're gonna give them a year, let them prove themselves. Like, I gave these other entities 2-3 years, and I haven't seen anything for it. Already I'm seeing results. I like how things are going.
So these entities before, they're not the Olympian gods. They're other.
No,
Oh,
no, they're the
wow.
spirit intelligences from Bardon's book. I don't
Oh,
know where these guys come
shit.
from. Yeah, that's why this is totally different. Like, this is
Wow.
completely, even, I will say this, even some of my, some of
That was
the
like the missing piece.
saints. Yeah, even it was literally the missing piece. And they've been trying to give it to me, but I would not take it from anyone other than a human.
Right.
So they had to get a human to give it to me because I'm a human. I would not take it from the spirit realm. I would not take it from no astrologer. I refuse to. And so they had to find a human who could give me this information. It's the only way it will work. It would, because I wouldn't take it from anywhere else. I'm sure that was them trying to communicate to me in my dreams. And I kept threatening them because I was in Aries energy, as in Aries the sign, which is Athena energy, because my first house is Scorpio. So I have Athena energy, which is the war starting, but I also have Aries energy, which is the war finishing. So I have both, actually, which is really not good. And so that's what I kept doing. I kept starting battles with them. I kept fighting them. And they're like, okay, we're not going to fight you. Like, we're trying to help you. And I'm like, no, I'm going to fight you. I don't know who you are. You must be defeated. And it's like, no, that's not what, like, you don't get it, because there's a story in the Trojan War where Apollo was getting ready to fight Poseidon, and Apollo was like, I'm not going to fight you. You're my uncle. Like, we're not going to fight over the humans. But that's what I kept doing. Hey, I'm about to fight you. Hey, we about to fight. Oh, I'm about to cast you this. I'm
Mm.
just steady fighting because I'm in that Athena energy when I really need to be in the Aries energy. So I can see why now nothing was working, because I'm literally fighting both ends of the
Wow.
battle. I'm starting the fight and I'm finishing the fight, but I started the fight. So I'm spending all my energy ending fights that I started, which is nuts. Again, complete insanity.
Wow, wow. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, and now it's just it because you got it and it's just flowing. Now it's
Right.
just it's like
Yeah, everything's flowing.
wow, wow, wow. And you're perfectly positioned in all manners to have that flow be possible. And that's what's so brilliant,
Yep.
where you got the calendar. Like, I mean, just in terms of this reality, completely in with the fact that it's September, the fiscal year. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
it's like everything. And as you said with earlier, with the with what's going to happen, you said the eighth and the ninth.
The
I mean,
eighth and the
it's
ninth.
like
Yeah.
it's like boom, 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 boom. Okay, yep, you aced it. Let's go. Now it's like new
Right. It's
new
all lined up.
phase.
It's
We're
all
good to
teed
go.
up. It's
Uh-huh.
all teed up to be
Ah.
successful. And that's impossible. I could not have done that. Now, I didn't even ask for that. Again, these are things I was not asking for. I was not asking for a calendar. I was asking for my problems to be solved.
Yeah,
But
and you were looking for
in
a break as well, like a vacation. And I'm
yeah,
pretty sure right
a
now
break.
with these Olympian gods, like you're gonna see that. You're gonna see all
Exactly.
this energy that was being consumed, either protecting yourself, attacking, just managing these entities that, as you said, weren't serving you. They weren't doing what they were supposed to be doing. Now you've allowed the Olympians to come in, and it's like, ma'am, I'm here at your service. Like, it's just like
Right.
we've been so excited to serve you.
Right. We've been waiting for you. It's like going to the Mandarin Oriental. You got all of these,
Uh-huh.
like, what is their thing? Like 12, like 9-point touches.
Uh-huh.
Like every time I turn around, they're like, ma'am, let me get
Uh-huh,
something
right?
for you. Do you
Like
need this?
you
Do
look
you
to
need
the
that? Would
bar.
you
Do you
like
want
this?
something to drink, miss?
Right. Exactly. Like that's how it's like
And you're gonna
all of
look around,
these
you're like, wait,
touches.
what's going on? Like, I'm not used to this type of service. I'm used to having to basically threaten you
Right.
entities
Right.
to do something.
Exactly. And they're just like, yeah. Oh, you want that's all you want? Okay. Go
Oh,
ahead. Let's like
wow,
it's
wow, wow,
it's
wow.
amazing actually. It's really amazing. It's like, okay, I want to talk to Zeus. This is what I said last night. I was like, okay, I want to talk to Zeus. Why? When I said that, I was like, I want to talk to Zeus. It was when the moon was in Sagittarius, and that's Zeus's temple. And then right after I said that, then you texted me.
No way.
I swear to God, I you
Oh
would not believe.
shit.
I swear. I was like, I want to talk to Zeus. I need to talk to Zeus. Where's Zeus? I need to talk to Zeus. Then you texted me. What? I'm like, oh, okay. I see how y'all play these games. I got it. I got it. I'm not gonna do this no more. We good. Like I see how the game is played. Like that was a
So it's
confirmation. I
the
was.
three-eye atlas originated from interstellar space in the direction of the constellation Sagittarius.
Did Zeus sit? Is that not what I said?
Uh-huh.
Did I not say the father was coming to check? That's Zeus. Oh, that's another thing. Zeus is the father of this land. America has a Sagittarius ascendant. So Zeus is the god of this land. So everyone who is not working with Zeus and the Olympic gods is going to have to leave. All of these Khazarians and all these other weird people, they're not dealing with the Olympians. They're going to have to
So,
leave.
and then it says
They're
here,
not going to be able to stay here.
three-eye atlas could be older than the solar system, which is 4.6 billion years old, and may well be the oldest comet seen as of yet. An estimate
Wow.
estimates three-eye atlas to be 3 to 11 billion years old.
Wow. Yeah, this and it's got
The
gold now. They're
oldest
saying
the
gold and
oldest
silver.
comet that they have seen. That's wild.
And I said it. I was like, "Oh, that's our dad. He's coming to
And when you
check
said
on us."
Sagittarius, I
Y'all,
was like, wait, I'm pretty sure this came
I
from.
had not heard that. I had not heard that. That's amazing. That is truly amazing. Well, it just proves I was not I was tapping into the energy and I didn't know it. Literally,
Wow.
this is amazing. Like all of this stuff, it's not an accident. It's not an accident. It's because we were in alignment. We again devoted ourselves to the continuation of
Yeah.
humanity.
Yeah.
And a lot of people did not do that. And so those people who didn't do that, you're gonna see them quickly removed. They're gonna
Yeah,
have
or
to
fall
exit.
in
They're gonna
line,
fall. They'll
or
fall
fall
from
in line.
grace.
Like you gotta,
Or fall in
you're gonna
line.
serve us,
Right.
because when humanity needed help the most, these people kicked them down, took advantage of
Yep.
them, played with them, toyed
Absolutely.
with them. And for us, like we were like, let's serve,
Right.
let's put our sleeves up, roll our sleeves up, and figure out the way, because there has to be a way,
Right.
because we can't live in this mess.
No,
There
we
was just
can't.
no ability to live everywhere I would look. Fundamental, glaring misalignment. I
Yep.
can't deal with that. That's just not going to work out. I will literally lose my mind if I
Right.
continued living in that reality. And now to see all of this playing out in the way that it's playing out, and the calendar for me is really super exciting, because it's like it's something that we can kind of tie ourselves to, in terms of something that grounds us. And by
Right.
grounding us, it's like, okay, everything else that we're doing, boom, we implement it into this. We start talking to the gods. We don't gotta go nowhere. We don't gotta try to participate in the system. They're
Nope.
all coming to us.
Yep, everything literally when I say literally coming to us, it's literal because every temple has a god. Every god has something that they do. It covers everything. Like everything is covered. There's no thing that's missed. And that is the beauty of the calendar. Everything is there. Like your American holidays, your Zocan cycles, and it doesn't require you to do much.
Yeah,
Like I
right,
love that. Like
right.
it's not a bunch of actions and activities you got to take every day, every week,
Mm.
every month. It's a few things like black eyed peas and greens and cornbread and fried chicken. Like I mean, if you can't do those things, like come on, man,
Well,
you got to
and that's
eat.
the
I mean,
thing.
there's
Black people have been doing that. Like the meals that they
exactly.
love are there, and now it's just boom, awareness, and then unlocks.
Yep.
Everything is unlocked.
Yep. Everything is unlocked. And we were still doing black eyed peas and greens, but we are doing it on the first of the year. I told people, look, we can't do it. We got to do it more often than the first of the year for right now because we're so far down. We have to come back up. And the worst part for this system is most of the parasites in the system do not behave like true royalty.
Mm.
And so to see, because I saw somebody made a post, they were like, marijuana is like something, and just drugs in general are really things that the royalty participated in. And most of these people in these parasites, not necessarily the leaders of the parasites, but the parasites, they can't do drugs because they're too busy worried about work and this and that. Whereas you got black people, like this whole Atlanta thing, all these people are all, the real battle is over the drugs and stuff that they do. So it's like you got people who already live like royalty, like me. Like people are like, again, I always say, they're like, how do you live? I don't know. This is just the way that I live, and I do what I want because I want to do it. I do not let anybody like tell me what I am or am not going to do. Period. Point blank. In the story. If I want to do something, I do it, and if I don't want to do something, I won't do it. I don't care how much money is involved. Most people don't live like that. They
Mm.
can't live
Yeah.
like that. So I already live like
Right.
royalty. It's just that, and they hate
Uh-huh.
that.
Yep.
When I say they hate that, they hate it
Yeah.
so
Yep. Yep.
much.
Exactly.
They hate it
They
so
think it's
much. They
failure.
want
They
me to
see it as
fold.
failure. It's like
Right,
everybody is like, that's you failed. And it's like, what do you mean I failed?
right,
I am doing I love what I'm doing. I love where I am.
right, right. I'm totally free. So
And
they don't like that.
now the physical is going to show the royalty. And when the
Right.
physical shows the royalty, everybody's gonna shut the fuck up. Because obviously
Yeah, they're
all
not
these
gonna have
people,
a choice.
they just function on what does everybody else have. That's how they gauge what
Right,
is of value. And this goes
right,
back to the incentives, because once with the boomers, you convince the boomers with money. So once as these incentives have now shifted towards alignment, towards high vibrational reality, well, we are going to see, and we're already seeing that, we're going to see an explosion of our physical reality, an abundance
Right.
unlike we've ever seen before. And as a
Right.
result, that's going to intensify. Everybody around you is going to be like, holy shit, I got to follow her. I gotta
Right.
listen to
It's
all
not
her YouTubes. I gotta,
right.
book a reading. I gotta do a call, a
Right.
consultation. How do I support you? How do I help you? Because
Right.
you are showing them that to follow you, that the incentives to follow you now have become visible. And unfortunately,
Exactly.
it had to become visible. They couldn't just feel it, they couldn't just see it, they couldn't just appreciate it. But hey, that's part of the game, right? That's part of being
Right.
the leader. That's part of running the
Right.
empire is, well, when you show up with the finest fabrics, with the finest jewelry, and you got a whole posse of just people running the show, yeah, everybody gonna get on their knees and figure out how to serve you, how to support you, how
Right.
to empower you. But we had
You
to
have to
go
wear
through
your
it
wealth.
alone.
Yeah. You have to wear your wealth, one, and for two, you're right. You have to go through it alone because I was literally starting the battle and finishing the battle. That is insanity, pure insanity. Imagine how many people just need to be told, hey, you're starting your fights and ending your fights, right? Like, you might want to just pick a side, and your life will be a lot easier if you just start the fight or you just end the fight. And think about that. The person who starts the fight is not the one who ends the fight. I didn't start this fight. I did not start this fight.
Right.
I did not start a YouTube channel and say I'm gonna gather all black people together and we're going to live to. I didn't start that fight. What happened was I joined someone else's channel and was seeing what they were telling their followers to do and was disgusted and was like, I am absolutely not going to sit back and let this
Mm.
person do this. And so, I think it was the summer solstice of 2022, I started making daily videos doing tarot readings, and taking a look at the astrology and trying to encourage people how to flow with the energy for the day, because the guy that they were following was giving them nothing but gloom and doom. And I was like, oh, I don't like this. These are a lot of old people on his channel. Why is he only telling them bad stuff? How about we give them some good stuff, like how to manage their energy for the day? That's how I started my YouTube channel.
Wow.
I was just trying to help. Like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
saw he tried to build this community off of fear, and I couldn't handle it. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, no, you're not going to be scaring old people into making donations to your channel. I'm sorry, we're not doing that. And that was really why I started my channel. I couldn't handle it. I
Wow.
saw what he was doing and I hated it. I was like, these are old people. I have a lot of old people around me. I don't like old people being taken advantage of.
Mm-hmm.
That is one of my pet peeves. And so I literally started my channel to counteract what he was doing energetically. And I got so much root work, black magic, all kinds of stuff done to me as a result. That's another thing. Like, I've been fighting against myself, but part of it is people did root work on me. They did all kinds of magic against me. I did a lot of magic against myself because I didn't know that's
Mm.
what it was. He lied to us about what we were doing. Whole time it was magic. I got stories for days on that. But these people have been cast to the outer darkness, so I don't have to worry about them anymore. But I would be remiss if I didn't at least
Of
mention that
course.
it's not like I was just out here lottie dying doing nothing. Like, no, I was casting all kinds of magic everywhere
Uh-huh.
recklessly and didn't even know it. And now that I see the full layout of the picture, I'm like, wow. I could have really hurt myself, my family, somebody. But it was as a result of what was being done to me. I was defending myself. And now I feel better about that because I was defending myself. And I especially at having all the Scorpio, am allowed to defend myself. Whereas some people they don't have that. They're not allowed to defend themselves. They literally do have to have someone defend them. And that's why it's important for everybody to know their charts, to know their energy, so you know what you're supposed to do. Some people are supposed to start a fight and walk away, which is nuts. But other people, because they're the ones who have to call the judgment, the fight starts
Mm.
because they call judgment on somebody doing something they weren't supposed to do. But at the same time, the person who starts the fight is not the person who ends the fight. The person who calls the judgment is not the person who does the execution. Like these things, this is what the opposite signs and all that stuff goes into. And we all have all this energy in our charts. It's just about knowing where it is for you so that you know how to best use it and when to use it. Like I should never be starting fights on the outside. When I get called in, it should be okay, you want this thing to be over and I'm gonna finish it.
Right.
And it's gonna be done. And that's exactly how my life has been. And just now I can put words to it. So it's really this technology is amazing technology, and I really look forward to talking about it more and more. But my phone is about to die.
Sounds good. Yeah, this was great. And I think, you learned how to start and end fights. You are a warrior. I mean, your warrior level is insanely high. So, like,
Yeah,
and ain't nobody want to mess with you because you
they
you know
shouldn't.
how to do both.
I wouldn't. I don't recommend it. I always tell people, look, I don't recommend messing with me. Like,
Uh-huh.
leave me alone. Like, please leave me alone. And they do. When I say,
Crazy.
even where I work, like I noticed I was sitting on a bench one day and the bench didn't have a cushion. And I was sitting on the bench. I come back the next day, they don't put a cushion on the bench.
Wow.
That bench has never had a cushion in 3 years, 4, 5, 6 years. Now it's got a cushion because I was sitting on the bench with no cushion. I
This
couldn't.
today, like
I'm like, this
recently,
is
like the last
crazy.
few weeks?
Yes, this
Wow.
last week. It was last week. I think it was
It's
Thursday. I was
beautiful.
sitting on the bench and I was like, man, I'm tired. And the owner of the school walked by. She walked by again. She walked by a third time. Walked by a fourth time. The next day there was a cushion on that chair. I've
Wow.
never seen a cushion on that chair. I was like, okay, I see what's happening here.
Uh-huh.
I look. Thank you for. I don't even sit on it. I bring my own cushion. I'm an OCD person. I bring my own cushion. I don't even need her cushion. But okay, thank you. I'll take it. It was crazy. I mean, everything is
Amazing.
crazy now. I
Uh-huh.
just accept it as this is what happens when you work with the Olympic gods. That's what the
Mm.
most important thing I want to say to people is this is what happens when you work with the Olympic gods. When you need something, it happens. When you ask, they show up. They are dependable and reliable, just like in the Hercules, the Hercules TV show, the kids show. You might be too young for that, but there used to be a Hercules show. I think it came on Disney or something, like a TV show, and they would all the women or whatever would be singing about Hercules. This is what it reminds me of. Like when you need something, anything you need, here they come. They got you. They really have your back. They're really here to see you be successful. And I cannot say that about any other entity I've dealt with, except for the Saints. But the Saints are in a different category.
Wow, beautiful. Well, thank you. Thank you for the spaces. Looking forward to speaking on Friday and hope you have a great night.
All right, you
Thank
too.
you. Thanks, everyone.